Hey, good morning, everybody. Can you believe it's time to get back to school? Anyway, I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season, and I'm going to talk you through my lesson plan for week 1, which will be coming up for us next Wednesday. And anyway, so where we are on our modified schedule is we will be in lesson 7, 7.3, predicate adjectives, and 7.4, use of Prō. So that starts on, what is that, page 75? Anyway, so for this predicate adjectives, before we get into our textbook, I probably will have the vocabulary from the next page. I'll have that vocabulary already written on the board, and then we'll take some time, we'll observe, and we'll basically refresh our memory what adjectives are with this usa and the fact that usa tells us that we have first and second declension adjectives, and that will give us our masculine, feminine, and neuter endings. They will all have this page open in front of them as a refresher, and we'll just review it. They've all got this highlighted the same way that I do. So once we've done that, then we will get into the actual lesson. And I kind of like starting with English sentences to get sentence patterns, and I think it's easier for us to make observations because we know the words already. So these English sentences actually come from exercise 88. I'll probably put the first 5 of them up on the board, and then we'll just as a class work through them and make observations. And really what I'm looking for is them recognizing the basic sentence pattern of subject, linking verb, predicate adjective. So anyway, we might kind of talk through question confirmation a little bit like we did back in Essentials. And the fact that if we diagram this, which I probably won't diagram all the sentences, I'll just put this pattern up. The reason why we have this slanty line is the fact that the arrow goes back. And again, I won't tell them, I'll try to draw it out of them using questions, and then see if they can come up with the pattern of the fact that because this is pointing back to the subject, it's modifying the subject, therefore this adjective will take the same case as the subject. So they'll agree in case. Anyway, at that point, we will then, once we've made our observations and taken a look at it, we'll go to pages 75 and 76, and they will read, and I will have them see if they can explain to me what they're reading. One of the things that's in this little section, it's the top of page 75, the bottom of page 75 and the top of page 76, is this idea of attributed versus predicate adjectives, which is, anyway, not really something I would want to get them hung up on if they don't fully understand. So then we'll probably go back to these sentences, and I'll have them pull out their exercise notebook and let them know that we're going to work on translating these sentences into Latin, because I want to make sure they understand how to arrive at the correct endings. So anyway, exercise 88 is where we are, and we'll probably walk through the first couple of these together, and then I might divide them into groups or with their partners and let them work on some of the others, and then maybe have one person come up and put this information up here that I have in the yellow. So again, our goal here is to take the noun, recognize the declension and gender and the case, and then come over here, and this is the word that they have to come up with in the exercise, that if it's feminine here, it's going to be feminine there. If it's nominative singular here, it's going to be nominative singular there. And they're going to want to have, again, this chart out in front of them so that they know that they are finding the right gender and the right case, depending on what the noun is. And I guess something to make an observation of, which I might do after the fact, would be that sometimes it looks like that the rule is that the endings will always match, but notice here they do not. So the ending may not match, but the gender and case will agree. So I think that's a super important, it happens again down here. You're not just copying the same ending, you're making sure that your gender and case agree. So that's an observation I want to make sure that I pull out of them as we work through these. Another thing that we'll do is in the verb, we'll underline the singular ending once and the plural ending twice, and making sure that they recognize that the verb also agrees with its subject. If the subject is singular, the verb will be singular, and so on. So again, I don't know that we'll get through all of those, but again, these are my plans ahead of time of what I think my board's going to look like, and we'll see where we actually go with it. And then we will go to the next part of the lesson, which is right here. It's the use of Prō. And I'll probably pull some of these English sentences and put them on the board for them to see. And that would be these right here. In front of the army, Mary praised 4 men. They made the attack on behalf of the king. And I'll underline these 3 phrases or words right here and ask them what they think those mean. And we'll kind of talk through that a little bit. And my goal is to get them to kind of pull these meanings out of it. The fact that this one is referring to a location or place, and these are referring to, like, the purpose is to benefit somebody, a person. And so, and that's what it says in here, and how here it can, the word Prō can have 2 meanings. It can refer to a place, or it can refer to, it says persons right here, on behalf of or for. So there's 2 different meanings for the same word. So at that point, we'll turn the page and look at the new vocabulary, which again, in my class, I have them preview and highlight before they come to class. So they will already have this highlighted here. So we will talk through these words, and we will identify not just, well, we'll probably start with finding the genitive singular ending, which will then help us to identify the declension. So we'll start with that, and then I'll have them tell me the declension of each, which they have the cheat sheet because they've already highlighted it. It's the colors are already there for them, so I'll have them explain to me why. Why is this feminine? Why are these masculine, and so forth? And then how to get the stem. So, and then why do we find the stem in the first word versus the second word here, and kind of, you know, they don't have the full word listed. So getting them to explain why things are written in the textbook the way they are will help them just to become more and more able to handle the way Henley is presenting things. So anyway, at that point, we will pull from one of the exercises that will be their homework. We might practice on the board, or I'll play a game of some sort. I don't have that decided yet, whether it's around the empire or around the world with the vocabulary, just something. We'll do some sort of a game or work on the exercises. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day.